This is AFL.com.au, Matt Thompson and Ashley Brown with you. Well, it was meant to be the day that the Adelaide Crows and Kurt Tippett went before the Commission, but as we know, that has been delayed. Still, we thought it was a good opportunity just to update you on where things are at. Ash, thanks for being with us as always. The situation as it stands right now.
Well, Adelaide have pretty much got a stay of execution, I guess, for probably about a month, I'd say, Matty. I'd say that the December Commission meeting is likely when they'll learn their fate, and the club and the officials involved will get a chance to give their version of events. AFL Commission still having its regular November meeting today, but nothing about the Crows on the agenda at the moment. So I think give it another 4 weeks or so, it'll happen. It means, of course, Adelaide can fully take part in Thursday's NAB AFL National Draft.
All right, we'll talk more about all the ramifications of this in a moment, but first, our first opportunity today to hear from Crows coach Brenton Sanderson about everything that's been happening at his football club. As you can imagine, he didn't want to go into a great deal of detail about a lot of things, but let's listen in to what he had to say as the Crows hit the training track.
I'm sure those guys will sort out what they have to sort out. All I can do is coach the footy team, and we've each got a role to play, and my role is to coach the boys. And we mentioned this morning to the players about all they can do is to do their very best to prepare themselves for a great 2013. To be honest, I've moved on pretty quickly. I spoke to Kurt in the off season, and he obviously told me that he wasn't going to be back at the club, and I was disappointed, and that day we had a coaches meeting. We spent about half an hour on it, and then seriously, we did move on pretty quickly to how we can make the group better in 2013. It's a bit out of my hands, to be honest, and once again, we're probably speculating on what might happen or what might not happen. So as we stand today, really happy to be involved in this year's draft, and we'll bring some good young talent in, and until the investigation is completed, I guess we've just got to wait and see. I probably shouldn't comment on other clubs, but I'm sure this is going to make a lot of other clubs nervous too. There's a lot of greyness surrounding ASAs and how players are paid and stuff. So there's probably the other 17 clubs are just double checking and ensuring that everything's above board. And but as far as I know, and you guys know as well, Adelaide's been squeaky clean, for 21 years, 22 years, and this has been something that they're going to have to work through. And as I said, we'll certainly get through it, and from a coach and from a playing point of view, certainly business as usual for us first day of pre-season.
So the Crows training in Adelaide today. Their pre-season is underway. Ash, there are a few other things we need to talk about here. First of all, this investigation. We understand it to be ongoing. The talk is that the AFL investigators are actually going through the Crows at the moment, contract by contract, and that's why we've heard some additional names that have been thrown up in terms of these controversial third-party deals beyond just Kurt Tippett.
Well, I think the AFL has to do its due diligence, doesn't it, Matty? They've really got to look at every playing contract. We've seen Nathan Van Berlo, the Adelaide captain's name, come up as well. But I would imagine now they would look at it and say, well, was this just a one-off at Adelaide, or was this the way they were going about their business?
All right. What about Nick Joyce? Of course, he was in the really unfortunate situation where he was delisted because of this bungle by the Crows, the fact that they couldn't get Kurt Tippett off their list. Where do things stand for him? Well,
Adelaide has said they'll use every endeavour to get him back on their primary list. Their first pick is number 20. Wouldn't think they'd use it for that selection, but then they've got 54 after that. So I'd pick 54 after that. I imagine that he would be a good chance to be taken at that selection on Thursday night.
And we can't end this conversation, I guess, without talking about the broader ramifications of this, and Brenton Sanderson alluded to it as well, the fact that, other clubs, should they be nervous right now? I mean, we know that the Chris Judd deal with Vizzy is in the spotlight.
Well, they were fighting words, weren't they, from Brenton Sanderson? But I think, Matty, every club in this situation would go to their contract people and say, let's go through everything and make sure everything is on board. Will other clubs have reason to be nervous? A couple might be shifting uneasily in their boots, who knows? There's been talk about Joel Selwood as well, the Geelong captain. There's Judd. There's all sorts of big contracts flying around in the world of AFL. I'm sure they're all being looked at very carefully at the moment.
And of course, there's another investigation going on at the moment out of AFL House, and that is this ongoing tanking investigation into the Demons. Do you think we might get any kind of answer on this front by the end of the year?
I think this is going to take a bit longer, Matty. There's so much to go through. What we're hearing is they're talking to coaches and officials and players 2, 3, 4 times, checking the stories, double checking the stories. This is going to drag on for some time, I think, because the implications of what could come out of it are so massive. The AFL will really take their time over this one. I don't imagine this one we'll hear too much more about it till next year.
Yeah, if you're a lawyer, there's a lot in it for you. I reckon the lawyers are busy at the moment in terms of sports law in this town.
It's a very busy time, lots happening, and lots for the AFL and the clubs to get through.
Yeah, right. That is the very latest on those particular topics. Of course, keep clicking back to afl.com.au for the very latest footy news as it happens.